I never thought that studying international relations would lead me to the Great Barrier Reef, but as an environmental social scientist, I get to see the world through new perspectives, above the water and below. Hi, my name is Claudia. I'm a researcher at the University of Queensland on the lands of the Turrbal and Yuggera people. My job is cool because I get to travel around Queensland to study how environmental problems such as climate change affect people and communities. Last year, my job took me to the ABC in Sydney, where I got to explain my research to Australia. Social science is the study of people and social relationships. Environmental social science is about understanding the connections between people and ecosystems. My work is predominantly about how people use and value marine and coastal environments. It's an important area of research, particularly in Queensland, because so many of us live on or near the coast. By understanding how people use and value the environment, we can develop more effective ways to conserve it. We can also make sure that we're managing the environment in ways that are equitable and meet the needs of people. I mainly work in the Great Barrier Reef, where I study how environmental changes or degradation can lead to something known as ecological grief. My work sits within social science, but it also crosses over into fields like geography, ecology, and environmental policy. So I get to work with people from many different research areas and end users like government departments who use our research to help manage the reef. I use a range of different methods in my work, including quantitative methods like surveys that give us statistical results, and qualitative methods like interviews and focus groups that capture people's knowledge. These methods help researchers to collect stories about environmental change as people experience it. Stories or narratives help explain how people use and depend on the environment, and they showcase local and First Nations knowledge. To work with narratives, I use a range of techniques such as coding, participatory mapping, and statistical analysis to find patterns or themes in the data. Here, we're using social media as a way to engage and connect with people who are being impacted by the degradation of the reef. Ecological grief is a relatively new term that just didn't really exist 10 years ago. Although throughout history we can assume people have felt grief for the loss of connection to their local environment, it's only now that this term has been formally recognised in Western science. We now know that people can grieve for the environment in a similar way to grieving for loved ones. Ecological grief is an emotional response to the loss of animals, plants, ecosystems, or places that are important to us. It's an issue that's becoming increasingly relevant in Australia, especially after the Black Summer bushfires and coral bleaching in the reef. Social sciences can help us to visualise complex environmental issues by understanding their social causes. Because ultimately, environmental problems are human problems. It's important to understand how environmental change affects our well-being and what we can do about it. That's where environmental social science can help. It's an incredibly exciting and fast-paced area of research that's quickly evolving to find more solutions. I really enjoy working in this field because it involves hearing about things that are really important to people and what they love about where they live. I also get to see some really amazing places and connect on both the human and environmental level. When I finished high school, I wasn't sure which career path to take. I studied international relations and languages at university, but I wanted to work on environmental problems, so I switched to a double degree in arts and science, which allowed me to combine my interests in people and the environment. We need to do this research to protect the environment, and we also need to understand what's lost when the environment changes. Environmental social science allows us to tackle these environmental problems in a way that also addresses equity and human well-being. As a researcher, the ultimate question for me is, how can we work together to prevent ecological grief and to understand the interdependency between people and the natural world?